Texas as a whole, at least 104 people are confirmed dead. That includes 6 deaths in Kendall County. We also know that President Donald Trump is expected to visit Central Texas this Friday. Also right now, we are watching as more storms are popping up right here in our area.
And it's the last thing some of us want to see. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
A lot of good news, guys. Let's start with the flood watch. That's in effect until 7 o'clock. But at this point here, I don't see any real flooding potential up here in the areas that were really hard hit. So technically it's in place. I think we're just fine here. You see, we do have flash flood warnings, though. Kimball and Sutton County and additional counties. Once again today to our north, we had a blessing. We did not have flooding downpours in our area. That was a possibility, but it developed just a little further to the north. Bexar County is in the flood watch, and I do want to point out we do have a few storms here. Let's go into southern Bexar County. I'm going to pull this view out just a touch here, and you can see right there around Palo Alto Heights, working down right there towards the Sandy Oaks area. You have a pocket of some heavier rainfall that is lifting north. So this is working its way towards Lackland and Kelly Field, and we'll cross 90, and there's downtown, this little batch here. So be ready. There could be a possibility of getting some bursts of some heavier rain from this activity. And does it get heavy enough to cause a flood advisory? That would be possible. So the watch is in effect. Eastern zone, you see the scattering of some showers and storms here, gradually lifting to the north. So for you, that's really welcome rain in many cases. And again, all is quiet. There's actually a little kick of some drier air up here. So you see these guys here developing, having a hard time. This batch here is weakening. So I feel really good about the trends for this evening across the hill country, where it's just going to be a slight rain chance if any of this could perhaps spread a little further north into, say, Kendall, Comal, or eastern Bandera or Kerr County here. Coming up, we're going to talk about the record crest in Hunt, in Kerrville, and we still have some rain chances to talk about as well. That's coming up.
Tonight, as we have the last few days, we have crews across the area ready to cover the very latest updates. We're talking with public officials about the latest efforts and speaking with people who have been affected.
Let's go ahead and start tonight with News 4 San Antonio's Matt Roy, who joins us live from Kerrville. He has a story of a family whose home was ravaged by the floods there. Matt, good evening.
Yeah, Jonathan, Mandy, good evening to you. Now, you might not believe this, but right now, this used to all be trees just like this one right here in front of me. But because of the deadly floodwaters that uprooted basically all of these, all the trees that used to be right here, all over to the right-hand side of me right now. So the floodwaters came up about 30 feet all the way to the house that you see behind me. The floodwaters went so far that it nearly destroyed the 100-year home that this family has been living in. In Kerrville, floods are a part of life. So in the early hours of Friday morning, Austin Donahue thought it was just business as usual.
Heard the water, not uncommon being on the river, and went and ate a piece of pie and drank coffee.
But it didn't take long for that pie to turn to panic.
I knew it was something abnormal when I saw at the level it was at, a house roof come by and a car.
Never have I ever seen it this bad. Nothing transpired, nothing ever occurred to where it was a wall of water as the magnitude as it was.
And in the panic of trying to leave the house, Travis's mom slipped and fell and broke her shoulder. She had surgery Monday morning.
And I didn't think it would ever happen to us, but of course you never know. Yeah, it's just devastation.
The aftermath is just that, devastation. The antiques, the family heirlooms, the house that this family has made a home over the past 100 years, destroyed in a matter of moments.
Just having to go into your house and, see, walk on things you love, and hearing them break, not being able to see anything, and it's just total loss is what the problem is, and it's a shock at the time.
But in the face of tragedy, community always shows up to fight. Volunteers from the family's church brought food, water, and helped clean up the devastation that the floods left behind.
It means the world to me. It touches my heart. When people come together, it's amazing. I feel the Lord coming through everybody, everything that's happening.
Now, even while my photographer Colton and I were here at the home today, they offered us a plate of food too. And it's that type of kindness that gives the community of Kerrville and the surrounding communities hope for the future. Reporting in Kerrville, I'm Matt Roy, News 4 San Antonio.
Tonight we get an exclusive look at the damage in Hunt.
That's right. News 4 San Antonio's Taylor Wharton spoke to one man there and joins us now with the very latest.
We were able to get an exclusive look here in Hunt, Texas, with Frank Siphon, who has lived here for a good portion of his life. He was able to show us the extent of the damage here on his ranch.
My property line starts over there by that far brush pile. It goes all the way to the river, and then it goes all the way back to this big hill back up here, and then over there by that hill. Taylor, you can see this debris pile over here is absolutely huge. My house was literally right up here in front of these pecan trees by that telephone pole. Had my house been there now, it would not have survived. The fence, I've got some fence left back over here by that hill. Everything else was either severely damaged or destroyed. So starting this afternoon, I actually have heavy equipment coming in. We will start dozing out all that fence. Right over here, do you see the two people standing next to the white truck?
Yes.
That's where my gate was. And that gate withstood with no problem the floods of 69, 78, 87, and 02. No problem.
Not this one.
My gate's gone. My gate is completely gone. Look how, I mean, it's twisted.
Right into the tree.
It is, it is. Right now, what we need are people to pray for these people, because I personally, I can't imagine what it's going through to not only know that your child is deceased, but they can't find it. They can't find them.
Siphon says, yes, there is a lot of damage here, but they will rebuild and come back even stronger. I'm Taylor Wharton reporting.
What could have been done differently? And are there lessons that can be learned? Of course, and that's true of every natural disaster. A question everyone is asking. It is, why were the girls, particularly the young girls who were in the cabins right on the riverbank, why were they not evacuated earlier?
Senator Ted Cruz talking today about the deadly flooding in the hill country there, appearing to reference specifically Camp Mystic. And tonight we dig deeper into the response and weather alert systems in Kerr County.
News 4 San Antonio's Jay Avila spoke to officials there in Kerr County. He joins us with the very latest tonight. Jay?
Well, I interviewed Kerr County Sheriff Larry Latha, who has been here all his life, served with the DPS for 25 years and as sheriff for 5 years. He says it's a misconception that they have alarms or some kind of high-tech warning system for flooding here. He says it's common for deputies to be sent to check the water level and the flood gauges here, although after this tragedy he expects that to change. Is there any kind of early warning system when things get to flood stage?
No, there is no, and a lot of people aren't from here don't know. There is no alarms, beep, anything like that. Well, we have flood control like 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet above that. There's markers like that, but there is no kind of system that gives you any kind of warning.
Can you think of anything that might help us reduce fatalities?
Well, it would be some type of alarm system. It would have to be. On a positive note, I just left just like I said, left the Lieutenant Governor. He just had a meeting prior to coming down here with the Governor. They're going to be having a special session. In that special session, they're going to talk about maybe funding some of those systems for counties and cities.
At an earlier briefing, they told us hundreds of search crews, helicopters, boats, and dogs are conducting a massive search over 100 kilometers from Hunt all the way to Comal County and Canyon Lake. And as we've told you for days, they've had people all over Texas notifying them by phone and by email about missing loved ones who were camping on the 4th of July. And so they haven't been able to come up with even a round figure, though, of how many people they're actually looking for. Live from Kerrville, I'm Jay Avila, back to you.
And what exactly was the timeline of alerts sent out before this happened? We have that breakdown coming up tonight at 6.
Tonight we are learning more about the victims. UTSA has confirmed the death of psychology professor Catherine Eads. The university is remembering her as an extraordinary educator. Her family says she was an incredible wife, mother, and grandmother who spent her life helping kids. It's also believed Eads and her husband were spending the holiday weekend together along the Guadalupe River. UTSA says there is also believed to be 2 UTSA students who are still missing from those floods.
And for more on what we know about the victims and those still missing, let's get to Emma Allen at the live desk.
Well, those missing range from all ages, and today Mary Grace Baker, who is set to start 3rd grade this year, is still missing. Mary Grace was at Camp Mystic when the devastating flood came through the area. She attends St. Anne Catholic Church in Beaumont and is set to start 3rd grade in the fall. The school posting on social media saying they lift up Mary Grace as well as others who are still unaccounted for, the victims and first responders, in their prayers. The St. Anne Catholic Church in Beaumont will hold a prayer event tomorrow at 6 p.m. in honor of the victims and those missing. And Robert and Joni Brake, a couple from Abilene, are still missing after the flood. The couple was staying in a cabin for the 4th of July holiday, visiting their son who lives in an RV near the Guadalupe River. When floodwaters hit the area, a family went to check on the Brakes in their cabin, but it was washed away by the time they arrived. The son of Robert and Joni asking for prayers and hoping for the best possible outcome. We were told this was the couple's first visit to Kerrville. That is the latest from the live desk.
And stay with us. Our coverage on the deadly flooding continues. We take a look at some of the damage up in the Austin area. That's next.
You're watching.
Flooding in other parts of the state in Williamson County. That's going to be north of Austin. 2 bodies have been recovered there. In Burnett County, which is just northwest of Austin, 4 deaths have been confirmed.
In Travis County, 7 people are confirmed dead. The community of Sandy Creek has also been hit by the recent flooding. One resident, Auburn Gallagher, says she's doing everything she can to support her neighbors. Her community has nothing, she says, and they're almost cut off from the rest of their county.
We had no warning. Nobody notified us. 2:30 in the morning, people that could get out came to this parking lot. Nobody was here. No firefighters, no police, nobody. We did not see Travis County sheriffs until 10 o'clock the next morning, who were rolling through and saying you all need to evacuate.
Their local church is serving as a distribution point for water and other supplies that Gallagher and other residents have been able to collect for those in need.
Devastation. Many people may be wondering how exactly can they help out.
News 4 San Antonio's Ethan Trejo has the latest now from Kerrville to see how volunteers and donation efforts are going.
I'm here at the Salvation Army Center in Kerrville. I've heard volunteers today say that the amount of people stepping up to support the community has been incredible and abundant, so much so that they're running out of space for all of the donations that they're receiving. Hundreds of cars lined up to donate even more supplies today. Hector Sanchez, a Canyon Lake resident, was one person who was donating. This isn't his first time supporting relief efforts, and that's why he's on his second round of donations today.
I donated some diapers, cases of water, multiple groceries, stuff that doesn't go bad, canned goods, energy bars, stuff, like I said, that won't go bad. And I just went to H-E-B, got some more stuff, and we'll make a round too.
And a number of other groups are looking to help as well. Others looking to support are also working with search and recovery efforts in Center Point. The Salvation Army is encouraging anyone who wants to volunteer with relief assistance to go onto their website and sign up at salvationarmyusa.org or call them at 830-465-4797. In Kerrville, I'm Ethan Trejo.
Well, back at the live desk, the family of Joyce Baden, a 21-year-old who went missing after the catastrophic flooding in the Texas Hill Country, has found her body. The family saying, "We found our lovely daughter who blessed us for 21 years. We pray to be able to find her 3 friends pictured there soon." Those friends, Ella Cahill, Aiden Hartfield, and Reese Manchaca, are still missing. Joyce's mom says the group went to hunt to spend July 4th with her friends, and they were staying in a home on a hill along the river. And Blair and Brooke Harbor's sisters, who were just 13 and 11 years old, have passed away. The aunt of the girls posting to a GoFundMe saying when the girls were found, their hands were locked together. The father of the girls confirming the sisters went missing during the flooding along with their grandparents. The father says Blair, the taller sister, picture on the left, was known to be a gifted student with a generous, kind heart. And Brooke on the right was like any light in any room. People gravitated to her and made them laugh, and she made them laugh and enjoy the moment. Brooke and Blair's grandparents are still missing at this time. That is the latest from the live desk.
Now your certified most accurate 4-zone weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
All right, well, let's begin with a look at our Raul B. Rodriguez Law Weather Cam view here across each of our 4 zones. And you can see we actually have a pretty good downpour just on the south end of downtown San Antonio, where there already has been some rain that has moved through. So we're tracking that batch. There in Gonzales, you can see some semblance to the left here of a little bit of rain. The sky here in Kerrville, which of course is very important to me, that is a lot of stability right there. I don't really see any signs of big rain coming into Kerrville or Kerr County here for you this evening. So we'll switch over to live power Doppler radar, and this is what we have. Again, coast is clear up here right now. All the action we have is really in around Bexar County at this point and to the south and east. So we zoom in a little closer here for you, and let's go in just a little bit more. And there you can see here, there's of course the Riverwalk, and as you're working up I-10, you see this little downpour here spreading north. So eventually that could be coming in around Balcones Heights. In here, of course, our station right here, and eventually a little bit of Castle Hills there, 410. So that little batch, this is that downpour you could see on the camera view there just south of downtown. That's a little developing thunderstorm right there on the southeast side as you are working away from downtown I-37 near the Alamo Dome. And then you head south and right down to 281. And here you can see again a pocket of some heavier rainfall working towards 410. And then out there towards Calaveras Lake, you see a developing thunderstorm here right on the county line with Wilson County. So again, through sunset, we'll have a hit or miss chance of these downpours and a couple thunderstorms in around Bexar County. As we look to the east, you see the scattering of showers and thunderstorms. That's actually a pretty aggressive thunderstorm right there. Look at all that lightning. So pretty strong updraft on that one, and it's lifting north west side of Yoakum as it's heading towards Gonzales County. Again, up into the hill country, we're really in pretty good shape here at this point. So I was watching this batch coming down to the southwest, but really been falling apart here after producing some flash flooding. So that's really in our favor. Now, right here, I do think that there is some potential this activity could lift up towards Kendall, Bandera, Comal County before it falls apart. So there is some opportunity here this evening. for a shower, thunderstorm. I'm going to get you a river level check. Yesterday's heavy rain in western Kerr County, you can actually see it. It's now between Bergheim to Spring Branch. That's where it is on the Guadalupe. That's the hydrology of the river, so that level's decreasing as it heads into Canyon Lake. And there, of course, you can see the Medina River. I want to point out, Weather Service has now locked this in. That was the peak crest and hunt, 37.52 feet. That is the all-time mark, which eclipsed 1932. So yes, at least a 1 in 100-year flood is what we're talking about here. There, of course, you can see 1987. Now, much of that was in the South Fork, of course, of the two forks of the Guadalupe. So when you look at Kerrville, you see it's in third place. That's because there wasn't as much rain on the North Fork to feed it. Had the North Fork had as much rain as the South Fork, then that would have just crushed this level here from 1932. And then here you have your lake level check. There's Canyon Lake, Medina, and of course Lake Travis for those of you who are interested in those numbers. This little system, finally, I think we're about ready to shed it and get it out of here. We still have a little bit of a rain chance, so you can see again this evening, there's that little bit of a chance we'll have through sunset. Tomorrow it's going to be more dominated by the onshore flow coming in off the Gulf for a few showers or thunderstorms. Not expected to see anything here, but then that may change on Wednesday with one last chance for some showers and thunderstorms. So kind of get an idea how much rain we may see from that model. This is our in-house computer model, and you'll notice as we go through the day tomorrow, there are those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now you can see it coming in on Wednesday. I do agree with this. A scattering of showers and thunderstorms across the hill country on Wednesday and maybe into Bexar County. Total rainfall from that model, kind of give you an idea. As you can see, it's not as impressive as it has been, so we're winding things down here. That is the good news. Tomorrow, again, we'll have that 30% chance for showers or thunderstorms in the 7-day forecast. Then on Wednesday, I'll keep it at 20% chance in around San Antonio. We'll have dry weather to round out the week, 93 degrees into the weekend out west. 94 to 95. The rain chances are starting to decrease. The hill country, Wednesday, I believe you'll see scattered showers and storms drop in from the north. And here's our eastern zone.
Some other big news stories that are happening right now.
Tonight, we've learned 2 people are dead after being found inside a house on the southeast side. Police say just before 2 this afternoon at a house on Christian Drive, relatives showed up to the house to check on the couple. They hadn't heard from them in a few days. That's when family found the couple unresponsive. We know the couple's in their 60s, but police do not know how they died.
And we're working to learn more about an active SWAT situation. This is going to be on the northwest side. Police called there to a house along Babcock and Proof for a suspect shooting a gun. Residents in that neighborhood were advised to stay inside their homes. Right now, that scene remains active. We're back in just a moment.